Oh, God.
Let's edit that one out.
Yeah,
Mark.
You left a good split.
I just floated that one there. Greetings and welcome to Mount Rushmore. My name is Jeff, and I'm your host. I'm going to speak softly in a way that is satisfying to you. Joining me, as always, are my good friends Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Welcome.
Michael and Richard are always in agreement. Anything they can do to be in harmony and congruous intonation as they discuss things. Actually, that's not true. Today's topic is the Mount Rushmore of Satisfying Sounds. Richard, you chose it. Why?
Because sounds are awesome.
Yeah.
And I you know what I
Richard Manfredi, Pro Sounds.
I like sounds. I think I was at a soccer game, and it's not one of my choices, but somebody kicked, like the goalie kicked a ball, and it just made this perfect, like, thwack kind of sound. I thought, that's a really good sound. We need to talk more about sounds.
I'm glad it wasn't like the vuvuzela and just like this like bee nest, beehive sounding
I'm the guy who's
annoying thing that's just like buzzing around. And
yeah, you know how most people have like the nature sounds to go to sleep?
Yeah.
I just have Vivian blow a vuvuzela.
Richard, do sounds have an agenda? A sound can be good. Can a sound can be bad?
I'm sure it could. Well, it can be displeasing.
Yeah.
I think there are certain sounds we all agree are very unsatisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Tiny owls in the distance.
Tiny owls in the distance. An airplane when you're trying to record a podcast, for example.
We have hovercraft. We have hydrofoil.
Bigfoot.
We have Sasquatch who walks by. We got everything you want here at the Jeff Hoffman Podcast Studio.
The Funhouse.
Richard, I'm going to give you, this is unusual breach of etiquette, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to choose it and then to start it. Do you want to take that?
Sure.
Awesome.
Oh, wait, I thought you were giving me the opportunity. I just said, sure, I'll take the opportunity.
Okay.
But Michael can go first.
Ah, shit. Okay, Michael, Richard chose the topic. You start.
Okay, my first pick is when you pop open a can of Pillsbury crescent rolls.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because I liked, there's a couple things I like about this. I really keyed in on the word satisfying. Mm-hmm. And it's not like it works 100% of the time.
No.
Like you can unwrap the foil and the paper, and then it like explodes, and you're like, oh, god damn it.
Do you
sometimes you like there's that slow peel.
Yeah.
And then it just has that perfect like, and you're just like crescent roll time.
You like nailed it.
Got it.
It's a real sense of satisfaction.
How's your spoon game? Like when you sometimes have to, do you ever go in with a spoon or something if it doesn't open? If you do the paper and it doesn't open? It's been a while.
No,
has the technology improved? Because I remember when I was doing that.
Has spoon technology improved or
crescent roll
paper tube bracket?
And maybe it's the cheapo Kroger version of that stuff that I used to get, where sometimes you tear off the paper and you're in mortal fear because sometimes it pops and it's just as scary.
Yeah.
But sometimes you would tear off the thing and you'd be all afraid for nothing because it never would pop.
Yeah.
But then now you got to reach in the drawer and grab a spoon and kind of push against the seam.
Oh yeah, and try to just get it to like.
Yeah.
That's a very unsatisfying sound. That's slow.
What another thing I liked about it is it's kind of like a Jack in the Box, like because you're just like you don't know if it's going to, and you're just like, is it gonna do it? Is it gonna do it? And then it's just like, yeah, pop.
I feel like a champagne cork is in the same sort of thing. Like, am I going to get this thing to pop correctly?
Yeah.
Or is it just sort of, am I going to like break the cork?
Or is New Year's Eve going to be ruined again?
Exactly.
Champagne cork has a couple different ways you can go depending on like what your night's like. If you're like in super party mode, and you want that cork to you can make that thing just like really pop and shoot across the room. But then if you're just like, I'm going to put this towel over the edge of it. I'm just going to eve it out and just going to like.
It's also, or if it's not super party mode, but this brunch with Aunt Linda isn't going to be very rockin', and I need as much for these orange juice mimosas as I can. I better save this horrible champagne.
It's funny. We're not like, we don't have crescent rolls or like those, cinnamon rolls all that often.
Right.
But every once in a while, Emily, like every 4 months, she'll come home from the store and we'll have one, and it's just like, all right, it's on.
I think what's so powerful about this choice and so impressive, Michael, is that you have a sound that is directly associated with a smell, and smell is like, I think, one of the senses that invokes memory most instantly. So, I mean, sound is obviously, if you hear something, it can invoke a memory, but somebody told me that smell is more powerful than sound. So it's kind of like a double whammy.
Who told you that? They're liars. I'm sure.
I think it was the television.
Yeah,
I think the television told me that. I think it was BuzzFeed did of the five senses.
Oh, really? Did they rank them?
A listicle of the five senses.
What would sound not have made the Rushmore of five senses?
You know what it was?
You won't believe what podcasts smell like.
It was
Click here.
It was one of those shows where they get like stand-up comedians and commentators. It was called I Love the Senses. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just talked about different senses.
Was Michael Ian Black involved?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I saw
Kathy Griffin talk about the senses, different senses.
I saw some random complaint on Reddit. Now we're off the rails. Where someone had talked about like, I know there's a distinct feeling of what the 80s feels like and what the 90s feels like.
Yeah.
And they said, but the last like 17 years haven't felt like anything. It's because they haven't done an I Love the...
Yeah.
A really good I Love the version of the 80s or the 2000s and now.
Yeah.
We need one of those. Help us, Michael Ian Black. You're our only hope.
To get back on the topic of crescent rolls real
Please,
quick.
thank you.
Pigs in a Blanket. They're really good.
Oh, this is a sidebar.
Yeah, it's kind of sort of sidebar, but
Not the sound of pigs in a blanket.
Well, if they're actual pigs and they're squealing when you bite into them,
It's cuddly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just want to throw out there, they're really good.
Okay, I feel like Richard's trying to bite your style, piggyback on the because
Piggy
obviously you're getting points for this, but like okay, all right, let's move on. Okay, Richard.
Wait, no, what are you accusing me of here?
That you're
j'accuse.
You're like the politician after one politician successfully says like, I believe in family values, and then we go, me too. I also believe in family.
I believe in more family values.
Family values.
Double family values. So my first one is the twang of a door stopper.
Oh wow!
Like one of those old school kind of like the coil ones that has like the little hard rubber stopper on the end.
Mm-hmm. Are those only in Southern door stoppers? Only have that twang, or is it?
Well, there's a Midwestern version of it, but it's more nasally than anything else.
The New York is just kind of like
just grating
mawkish
and annoying.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid. And we had one in my room. And
sure, it's a great toy.
Oh, God. There were times where, I'd have my Hot Wheels or God knows what else I'd have. But I could spend a half hour just the stupid thing over and over.
In previous episodes, we talked about Richard's past musicality and learning to play like the bass and drums.
That's how I learned. That's how I learned how to play the Jews harp right there. It's just that thing.
And then later on, the whole John Zorn album is just all that stuff, right?
Basically, you're halfway to like a theremin if you're just doing that. It's just fun. It's rhythmic. You can kind of. It's
I just love
semi-drum-esque.
You guys could have like let off the afternoon at Coachella. You popping open biscuits and return on the twanger.
It's starting to feel very Blue Man Group, like one of the bits that got thrown out. Like somehow one of the blue guys is there twanging one of those.
If we can just sample this stuff, we're definitely hitting the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's see how many other choices on our list we can get in there.
I feel this group. Most of them.
Your predilection for the twanger does it evoke childhood memories?
I think it really does.
And also it brings me down to kind of kid level, the kid eye view that you view the world from. That's very evocative.
Yeah, and I think the idea of just having this thing that was so simple and not made for whatever it, using it and kind of getting sound out of it in a way that it wasn't meant to be. I remember just being a kid. And I had pots and pans, and I would play drums on them. And when you're a kid, you just make sound out of whatever happens to be available. And for me, I was back home a few weeks ago, going through my parents' house, cleaning up some stuff, and I saw that thing, and I was like, "Huh, that's still there." Gave it a few good whacks. Kind of it felt pretty good.
There's something about
my first friend. Yes, don't ever change.
Twanger.
First draft of Toy Story and had Twanger.
Just a real
Andy and Twanger stuck in the room together.
The poor version of Toy Story. Here's my first friend Pillsbury, and
that was from the Mexico studio Pixar. The times I was sent to my room for being rambunctious or an idiot or teasing my sister. There's that kind of time where you sent to your room, basically told to shut up, go to your room, and maybe you start reading some of your books or playing with your Legos, and the world kind of dials itself down to this quiet place. And I can see that twanger maybe being something you do while the door is shut.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. No, I do believe it. Yeah, it could have been one of those things. I think I actually remember a couple of times being in my room and being mad and just going burn, 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 just to piss my mom off in the living room right next door.
Okay. All right. Michael, you're second.
My second choice is from a video from 2 years ago that I saw on, I don't know, let's say Facebook. But it is a falling snow shovel that sounds like the opening guitar riff from Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh, this is incredible.
Okay. This thing is so stupid. I think it's stupid and wonderful because it's perfect. It's in perfect note or key. It's the perfect amount of time in which these three parts of this shovel fall and hit the ground.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of something that Emily and I do, or we used to do, which was this game called Faces and Places.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's an actual condition, or there's it's a phenomenon called periodolia, which is...
Does it involve yodeling? Does it involve Slim Whitman?
It's when you...
The whole Oldley family went to my junior high, and Perry was just the weirdest of all the kids.
It's when you see like a face in like an electrical socket, or you see like a gathering of clothes together, and it kind of looks like a face.
Oh, that has a name, periodolia.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's like the human brain's condition to do that. Mm-hmm. And I like I kind of attribute it in a certain sense of when you happen to hear something that sounds so much like something else. And in this video, it just hit all three notes perfectly.
And in time, too.
I think that's what it was. Like, it's obviously not faked. Like with the video, this guy is like falling ass over tea kettle, and the shovel just hits in these three perfect moments, and you can't like recreate. You could try to recreate that, but like you'd never quite get it.
Yeah,
right. There's a whole genre of these now online where people have found kind of like everyday sounds or sound bites that sound like music.
Another one pick that I almost went with for this instead, but I like this one better, was like this compilation of videos of things sounding like Chewbacca.
Oh, fun.
Where it's just like soda cans sliding across a table, or like doors, like a desk drawer being stuck, and it just kind of has that Chewbacca sound. But this one being that it turned into the song and just the perfect video edited together.
Yeah.
It was just so delightful and so satisfying.
The phenomena of this thing called the internet that is observing the minutia of life with too much time on its hands that allows it to make that comparison. And I think the phenomena of every piece of music and every sound being all living together in the same laptop allow us to make these comparisons we may never have associated in the past. Okay, so far that's winning. You guys are losing, but that choice will win.
That's what that means.
All right, I don't know either. All right, Richard, you're second.
Okay, so this one I think goes similarly to the Pillsbury popping of that. And this would be a beer can opening.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, literally, when it opens, it sounds like it says...
Yeah.
It is literally telling you that alcoholic refreshment
kind of sounds like freedom a little bit.
Coming your way. Sounds like America a bit.
Yeah.
I think that's really one of the key reasons to get your beer in a can instead of a bottle is just the sound, that feeling of pulling it. You get a little bit of tension there with the pull tab.
Yeah.
And it just hits right. And it's like, ksh.
Was that so? The media that supports it, television has been the backdrop to every experience that I've had throughout my entire life. But television advertising and its potency to create these associations in your mind between positivity and recreation and entertainment and this product has... Why not Coke? Why not Welch's or something like that?
Was it the beer? Yeah, was it the Busch beer ad? right? Wasn't it
That kept- that made that
the
sound?
very like look for the mountains of Bush. Then have like the
Beer. Yeah.
So I think that may stick somehow.
Do you
that
think
may
so?
have been like something that stuck.
The crack. But then,
But I feel like that's also
If
You don't
if
see
it
it-
cracked open and like black tar oozed out, it wouldn't
Yeah.
be as satisfying.
well, it's Bush beer.
okay.
So it's pretty similar.
Okay, you do the head for the mountains of Bush, and then don't say anything after that.
Okay. Head for the mountains of Bush
Twang.
beer.
So I did the twanger.
That was okay.
Do you are you thirsty?
Well, I could always have a beer.
Oh, all right.
But I think you do see that in like a soda commercial sometimes. But
Yeah.
I feel like in 90%, especially when we were growing up,
Yeah.
of beer commercials, you have
Yeah.
that some sound and scene of
Yeah.
someone cracking open a tall boy.
I think the more satisfying sound associated with soda as opposed to beer is like if you see like a big cup of Coca-Cola, like
Yeah.
And
like
it's fizzing.
fizzing,
yeah, the
and like
fizzing.
an ice and everything.
Or
I
if
think
you hear somebody doing this.
Richard is nursing off a cow.
Yes. Well, that's my third choice. Sorry. Nursing off a cow. But yeah, you're right. It's the fizzing. That's sort of what you associate with soda, right? It's
Yeah.
the fizzy aspect of it.
yeah.
I think
But with beer, I think there's like just like the immediacy of it too.
Because it's that feeling of, it's that idea of, boy, you really need a beer after a hard day's work.
Yes.
You deserved a beer after weeding your lawn all day.
Yeah, soda. When you crack open a soda, it doesn't represent a shift in state. 'Cause
That's true, yes.
With beer, it's Miller time, it's quitting time, it's whatever. Most of the good of anything that you're going to do has ended.
Yeah. You have lost all your productivity is done, and now prepared to turn yourself into a slug.
Yeah.
Basically.
I would also say the decline of television advertising towards beer and alcohol might indicate that that sound you may associate from a time before you were even when alcohol and access to it was limited. So you might have been taboo.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah. So from the early 80s. And I think that beer advertising has changed. It's not really so much about the beer and let's have a beer after a hard day's work. I mean, if you think about 70s, 80s, that's pretty much what it was. Mm-hmm. And I will say we did talk about Spuds McKenzie a couple,
R.I.P.
a few, R.I.P.
Let's pour one out for Spuds.
a few episodes ago. And I think that was the first time I remember a beer commercial that really wasn't about the beer. It was about the lifestyle and drink this beer and be cool. Mm-hmm. Versus like drink this beer because you're an alcoholic and you need a beer to help you get through the night. Mm-hmm. So I think you don't have that sort of visceral sort of feeling of let's open this up and get this party going. Mm-hmm. But no, I even just even for me, just it's when it's quitting time. It's cracking open a beer time, and that sound is just like I said. It just feels like freedom.
It's pretty good too. A box when you have a box of Franzia that's in the freezer in the fridge, and you just say,
unscrew it.
Yeah, you hear the little plastic kind of the cap come off, then you just drip it into like just a little fruit jar, like a mason jar.
It's high blood alcohol time.
Well, we hope we are the soft, pleasing sounds in your ears, and that you as a listener will go out and try to find more of our pleasant sounds on iTunes. Download, listen, rate, and review, and lend us the pleasant sound of your review on iTunes. It really helps other people figure out whether our podcast is for them or not. And then go get that sound of that a notification on Facebook when you join the Mount Rushmore podcast fan page, or or whatever you can do with the fan page. And then you get a notification that some other schmuck also wrote a comment or joined. So these are the pleasant sounds that you can get when you're involved with us. And tweet, that's a sound. And that's what you'll get when you go on Twitter and follow Mount Rushmore Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And we are back. We've been kind of zooming at the speed of sound for our Pleasant Sounds episode. Michael, what's your third?
My next sound.
Can you do that, Michael?
Mostly spit comes out when I do it. Can you do that? Doink.
God, my next pick is so appropriate right now because it's the sound of silence.
Oh, shit.
Oh
my
wow.
God.
You guys really stepped on
Was that a jab?
really possible nice moment. Great.
Hey, our guest Michael Winslow has arrived.
All right.
It's a guitar. Because he sounds like Jerry Lewis. What is so pleasant about this? Okay, is silence the sound?
I think growing up in LA, where I've known no actual real silence, I've barely known quiet. The closest you get to quiet and silence in
Wait,
LA.
are you reading some poetry, or is this? Are you actually competing in the show
Silence
right now?
in LA. Silence in LA. As I smoke a cigarette. That's the sound that I have to say those things because it doesn't actually sound like me smoke. So no.
All right, class. What do you think of microfoam? It's derivative.
America is really big, and I haven't spent that much time within it.
Oh my God, this is like more of your poetry.
Hold on. Whether it's like going to like big national parks or whether it's just being out in like a big expanse of nature, I've spent most of my time either in LA or Seattle or other real cities where there is only noise. Mm-hmm. And the quietest it kind of gets in LA is like right around Christmas when everyone is like, when half the city empties out and it's 11:30 at night, midnight, and you're like, yeah, listen to how quiet it sounds. And then it's like you only hear one big rig kind of coming past you. You're like, and you're like, oh, well, it's close enough.
Yeah.
But what made me think about this was that 2 years ago, Emily and I went on our honeymoon to Iceland. And that country is empty. It's 300,000 people, and it's 40,000 square miles. It's basically the size of Indiana, but with nobody in it.
Wait, you're talking about Indiana?
that too. But like the biggest city carries a third of the population, and we drove around the entire country, and you don't know what real silence is, what like the silence of nature is, until you're out there by yourself, and it's just like you're walking around and you hear nothing. It's like there'd be times when there'd be no wind and there's no trees and there's just nothing, and you're just like, wow, the earth is a big ball of nothing at times. And it's when we talk about satisfying sounds, to just kind of shut all that out and be like, I don't hear anything. I can only really hear my own thoughts, which is let's not get there.
Good, yeah.
But
that's what this podcast is. We'll get that's going.
And like I've experienced, like it happens every once in a while. Like Richard joked about, like Indiana. I've gone home with Emily to Indiana on Christmas, and you can kind of hear like snowfall.
Yeah.
Or you hear like things like that, but there's still civilization out there. It's once you get outside of civilization that does it get kind of weird. And I really appreciate that, and really, it's like I don't experience this as much as I should. So I
think that's that. So
I mean, it's up to you to decide.
Handsome
man. See that, Richard? You throw it a compliment,
yeah,
and then that's all they remember.
I'm blushing like a schoolgirl right now. Well, I'm fascinated that bringing up culture and city, like sound as an observation on the sound is the backdrop for the places where we live, and and you're talking about different cities too, Seattle, LA, Reykjavik, or wherever you were. Like, I'm fascinated by the idea of sound as a signature for an environment and a living.
I think too, LA definitely sounds like something as well. It sounds like cars.
Yeah,
like New York sounds like people
getting
as I understand it from the movies, some sort of gang running up and down, and then trash being thrown out of a window,
a doo-wop group, and then
like a pizza being thrown in the air.
Chicago sounds like gunshots.
Yeah,
but no, I think you're right. Yeah, LA, like each cities have their individual sounds, and we're so car driven and motivated that I'm.
Yeah.
Sure, that's all I know. I mean, for the most part, I've spent 30-something years of my life here. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Ricardo.
Was that me?
Yeah.
No hablo español.
Oh, sorry. I don't speak my name in Spanish.
No. My next one is the sound of a strike in bowling.
Oh, cool. Ooh. I never heard it.
It's like a spare plus the sound of bumpers when you put those up.
Right. I think we've discussed my junior bowling prowess here on the show before.
Uncle Richard.
So, and I did manage.
No, I'd never heard of this. Have we?
Did we? I thought we did.
Oh,
yeah,
I
I was
know.
a really good junior bowler, like 10th in the state.
Oh, wow,
California.
cool.
Good.
Oh,
when I was
wow,
in
cool.
eighth grade.
No, when? What? How old were you? What?
8th grade. I think that's when that was like when I peaked, and then I screwed my shoulder up, and I can't really do much. I can't do as much anymore. But
like a gymnast, you hit puberty and your body changed.
right, yeah, that's why you don't really see any bowlers are older than 12 or 13 on the tour anymore. But yeah, I was a very good bowler. So and so maybe this is something that may kind of take me back to, junior high, high school. But I still think, and if I'll be flipping through the channels and watching, kind of happen upon a bowling match on TV, because it's a 2-part sound. It is the sound of the ball going down the lane, which is a very specific kind of whirring almost sound of the ball, kind of as it's revving and going down the wood lane. It's like, so you get a little bit of that kind of wind up anticipation. And then when you get like especially a real solid pocket shot, because you can have one of those ones that kind of hits light and kind of the pins kind of scatter and a few of them get knocked in. They kind of go out. They don't go down all at once.
Bowling is like a haphazard thing for me where I don't even understand what happened. So like there's nothing has ever happened the same time for me twice in bowling.
There's no consistency with it.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
Yeah.
But you've done it enough where you know the signature sounds of the various hits.
Yeah, and when it's that pocket shot, when if you're a right-hander, it hits the 1 and the 3 at the same time, and it just depends when they all kind of feel like they explode at once.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a specific kind of sound, because even with strikes, the pins may go down split second different, or one kind of gets hit by another one. It doesn't sound quite the same. When it's like a pure shot, it's almost like the difference between like a base hit in baseball versus like a no doubt home run.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a very specific and different sound. And like if you're at a bowling alley and you're in a tournament even, and somebody gets like a real pure strike, you can hear it half the lanes over.
Yeah.
It's very specific.
That's what Paul Newman turns around and he looks back
And sees Vince with his bowling t-shirt. No, it's a very like, again, it may be something that's specific to me, but it's just such a satisfying sound to hear, like just these
that 4 or 5 seconds of lead up.
Yeah,
I mean I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
too.
that is part of it.
It's not just
yeah.
like the pins falling down. It's the 1, 2, 3, and then kaboom.
Yeah, and especially if you've thrown a good ball and you kind of have that sense of like, okay, this could be really good. This could be a strike.
Yeah.
You almost hear it as much as you see everything happening, because
Yeah.
as soon as you hear it hit those 2 pins, it's like, oh, this is a strike.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they call it, like, sometimes if you throw a really good ball and the 10 pin doesn't go down, they call it a ringing 10 pin.
Oh.
And very much for that reason, that it's like, it sounds like it should be a perfect strike, but somehow this 10 pin kind of stayed up.
I can imagine you like the montage of cool guys walking away from explosions. Like
Yes.
you walking away, not even looking, like a no look.
Yeah, you
strike.
don't need to see it at that point. Just hear it
Yeah.
by sound. You know how awesome you are.
So what age is this for you?
12, 13.
Okay.
And then through high school, although my shoulder started flaring up, so I kind of had to take time off and stuff. But yeah, probably through high school.
Were you also playing, what instrument were you playing?
I played bass.
Okay.
Also played sousaphone.
Oh my God.
Because that's what you can tell. I got laid.
Yeah.
Bowling.
Oh my God, you have like you're
Bowling.
firing on all cylinders.
Sousaphone.
Yeah. Wrestling. You like
Tennis.
wrestling?
I liked wrestling.
Oh, tennis.
I was in math competitions.
Okay.
I mean, basically, just had to beat women off of me with a stick. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to beat off.
I'll just edit that. Yeah, so that's what you said after it gets edited. Michael, one last chance to be judged.
My final one.
That sounded like a threat, by the way.
Well,
That's the name of my metal album.
my final one is along the lines of what Richard had brought up, a very specific childhood memory. And it is from a movie called Animals Are Beautiful People.
Oh,
And
wow.
it is the sound of the go-away bird.
The biggest nuisance in his life is the go-away bird, who seems to take pleasure in sabotaging him. It'll watch him stalking painstakingly up to his quarry and then tell it to go away. Such beautiful targets.
That's fabulous.
And we're having roasted bird tonight.
That's fabulous. It's funny because my family was starved.
This was a film by Jamie Uys. Is that how you say it? He did the movie The Gods Must Be
Oh,
Crazy.
yeah, okay. It seemed like the same cast members.
Yeah.
It's a documentary, but it's very heavily edited and very much story driven.
Yeah.
And it's told in not quite tongue in cheek, but it's told in a very playful manner. There's a whole sequence where these elephants and baboons and other creatures eat all of these for like fermented fruit that fall on the ground, and they stumble around and fall down, and like they're drunk.
Is there like an intervention after that?
There's an owl that swoops in that is just hoots softly. But this was a film that my dad would bring back from. He used to work at Warner Brothers in like overseas distribution or something for like years and years, and he'd bring back films from like the vault or whatever, and you could check stuff out. And this was a movie that I had requested all the time. I loved this movie, and I loved it specifically for the go away bird, where the African tribesman is kind of being documented, and just the entire sequence, but just that damn bird, it's set up so perfectly, and you know it's a documentary, but it's kind of not. But it's like the thing I think of most when I think of like my dad. And I think of like if I think of a sound with my dad, it's going.
Is it so would you say it's satisfying? Is that a good phrase for it?
Yeah, like I don't think. I don't know. It's satisfying in the memory aspect.
It's a joke you shared with as a bonding moment with your father.
Yeah, my father and probably my sister too. Like we probably grew up with like that, and maybe like my dad doing some other dumb impression of like Snagglepuss or Augie Doggy or something.
My dad was definitely related to us through entertainment and jokes and humor, and so I totally relate to that. That's something that the type of thing that he would have shared with us. He introduced me to Monty Python and a lot of comedy that I always felt like my dad was, and this wasn't inappropriate for a young person to see, but I always felt like my dad was, humor and laughing is often feels kind of conspiratorial. You're laughing at somebody's fate, like this hunter there. And so it was kind of funny to laugh at these things together. So that's cool. Is that real? Go away. Is it bird real?
The bird actually has a name. It is the
fuck off bird. It's actually the fuck off bird.
They needed a PG rating though.
It's called a gray lurie, aka the
not a Paul Lurie.
Not a Paul
Lurie. Gray lurie.
He can go away as well.
When he dies and needs to come back to save the hobbits, he's Gray Lurie.
That's such a great meta joke.
Richard, this may be the last pick you ever make.
Maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
My last pick is a good power chord.
All right.
Just a good root 5th and 7th. Just grinding it out.
Yeah.
And maybe this just sort of came from growing up, and my brother's favorite band was probably the Ramones.
Okay.
And that's all the Ramones are.
Yeah.
Literally just 3 power chords. And when I learned how to play guitar from my brother, he basically, the only thing he knew were power chords.
Yeah.
So that's all I knew for like 10 years was just power chords.
Are the bar chords power chords, or are we talking? Isn't that one you slide up and down, the kind of when you're barring a different?
Well, barring barring would be if you have, say, the shape of an A that you would play open, but then if you want to do a B, you just do the same shape up 2, then you have your index finger across to sort of bring up. And then power chord would be more just you're only playing 3 notes. So it's wherever the root of it is, the 5th, and then the actually.
This is the guy who gets laid in school. The guy this is this guy.
The guy who won't shut up about music theory. Yes.
Ladies
love music theory. That's what I know.
You got a gorgeous wife, so obviously it all worked.
Well, it finally worked out.
Yeah.
But just that. So it's called a power chord because it's just basically the root and then the next octave up, and then it's the 5th in between. So it's just it's not a major, it's not a minor. It's just whatever the most The chord is at the most basic level.
You're talking such a foreign language to me. I took one like music class and we learned to play like garbage things on the recorder,
right?
And then that
Scarborough Fair, like green sleeves,
basically.
Green sleeves. Everyone knows how to play green sleeves on the recorder.
But though I love music, like talking about music, I just learned recently that a chord is like multiple notes at the same time.
Oh,
What?
yeah.
I never really paid attention
That
to any
doesn't
of it.
seem like you need to be a musician to know that. That
I
seems
never-
like you need to like be aware that a piano has more than one
No,
key.
I just didn't know that that's what it was called.
What did you think it was called?
I don't know, notes. I'd heard the term, but like I didn't have that sort of like experience. Like, oh, I'm gonna play a chord. Okay,
Yeah.
So
so,
D
like-
minor. So D minor being the saddest of all chords. When he said D minor, it's a chord.
yeah.
Did you not?
sorry. hold on.
Did you not? Did that
I'm
joke
so
sort
sad.
of half go over your head? Is it like if somebody is explaining like how, like atoms bond with each other? It's like, yeah, I kind of get it, but
Yeah, I never had the interest in it to pursue it past what I know I liked listening to, and like it was just like I've never played a guitar, I've never played an instrument.
to be fair, you only like twee music, so I don't know that there's a power chord in any song that you actually
Yeah,
like.
I
So
don't-
to be fair,
Yeah, I don't think like the music theory is a foundational or even like necessary part of an education. So it's not like
to my point, I learned power chords. And that's all I knew for 10 years because I didn't know how to make like a minor chord or anything like that. I just knew how to do, like I said, the Blitzkrieg pop. Like
I understand what it is. I don't understand how you get there. Like when you're like, oh, you go down a fifth. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? All of that is so
Sure.
It's interesting, but it's so foreign.
It's just something
Yeah.
different. Yeah. No, I get that. And the whole point, I think, of a power chord is that you don't really need to know. I can teach any. Jeff's got a guitar right there. I could show you. I could have you playing a power chord in like 10 seconds. That's kind of the point, I think, of
I'm
the
gonna
power
get
chord.
this guitar.
no,
No,
let's-
you're
we're
not.
good.
No, we're good.
What's
I'm just gonna play this twanger in the behind your door.
Twang.
And he's going to get the Pillsbury thing. A power Pillsbury.
and we've
Proper.
recreated skiffle, I think.
Yes, we did. But it's like, I know Pete Townsend has said basically he doesn't want to play anything where he has to play more than 3 strings at the same time.
Oh,
So if you listen to like those Who songs, the guitar
Yeah.
parts aren't incredibly complex.
yeah.
And a lot of times they're just kind of power chords and things like that, which are just these, like I said, just if you could picture somebody is picking up guitar and going, bang,
Yeah.
that's a power chord.
I like that all of your picks so far, maybe except for the metal door twanger, they've all been pretty visceral. Whether it's like the beer can being open or whether it's like the bolt, the strike.
I would even see the twanger is pretty visceral because it's like you're
Yeah.
hitting it and it's kind of making that kind of thwack whenever you
Yeah.
hit it. So, yeah, probably. I think it's a combination of the whole sensory experience kind of triggered with sound.
I'm glad you guys are analyzing each other because I'm having a hard time analyzing you.
Analyze this.
Analyze this. So these gentlemen have each registered into the vault. And I'm bringing back the vault, you guys, because the
sound
sound.
effect
Need
house.
the sound.
Is that actually your choice?
Yeah, my sound effects is the vault.
Satisfying sound, yeah.
Yeah, guys, I got this vault when I was a child. My dad left my mom, and he said, "Son, I don't have much to give you, but this vault, carry it with you throughout your whole life. This thing weighs 4 tons. I've moved it to every apartment, every home I've ever lived in, and it once stopped a bullet for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a bullet wasn't shot out of a gun or anything. I was just kind of rolling across the floor as I was trying to load a pistol. And this vault has been very helpful to me. So that's my choice, and that's why I'm going to lock all your suggestions in. And I'm spinning it, the tumbler. Okay. And what I find fascinating about each of your choices, because they should, like any kind of assertion that we make in life, it shows your relationship to the world. And I think Michael was correct when he asserted that your choices were very dynamic and had some kind of power behind them. Is that right?
Yeah.
And they all definitely seem like kind of an expression of freedom or power or the lust for power or somebody who maybe is an isolated young man who's stuck in his room, has nothing really to do. Maybe he's in a timeout or something like that.
So you're saying my life is in timeout?
I think your life, I think you have not settled for your situation, and you've always done things, A, to try to get women to find you attractive, and B, to kind of demonstrate power. And so here's a young man who's using this door stopper to try to piss off his mom. And also, this is very Freudian because all of these are in relation to women. And here's a young man who's trying to show his athletic prowess and show his skills as an athlete, which a bowler kind of qualifies as.
Sort of like a poker player.
Yeah. So all of these expressions of dynamic power. Here's a young man who's 26 years old. He's finally trying beer for the first time. And this same young man wants to write a melancholy song like Ryan Adams might, Summer of '69 or something like that.
Not Ryan Adams.
Bryan Adams.
Okay,
sorry. And so you grab that power chord to take you back to this age of nostalgia where bands like the Ramones or Boston or Journey had this anthemic rock or simple punk. And so I think it has to do with your nostalgia is related to your expansion as an adult. This analytical thread that I've gotten in the podcast does not help to says it. It just really ponders.
I'm finding out a lot about myself.
Okay,
Jeff. So that's important.
This is a lot less expensive than going to therapy. Everybody.
Yeah, it really is.
And Michael, what I love about the observations, because they do definitely seem to be part of your relationship to your surroundings from like a day-to-day lifestyle standpoint, and your relationship with the people around you, your relationship to the city around you, your relationship to your father with this clip from this movie that you both enjoyed, your relationship to the internet with that clip from the falling snow shovel, and then your desire to bring sweet, sweet goodness to everyone through the Pillsbury crescent rolls. So,
if I poke Michael in the stomach, will he go?
We'll find out.
Let's find out later.
But I like Richard's choices for the most part more than Michael's this time around because I think they very much come from a visceral place and they seem very honest, whereas Michael's just usually full of shit. And so, Richard, I'm going with Striking Bowling, Beer Can Opening, Power Chord, and Michael, just because it's so ridiculous, I'm going with the Pillsbury Crescent Rolls.
That's a good one.
Because, guys, this episode is brought to you by Pillsbury.
Guys, let's go make some delicious crescent rolls I've heard so much about.
If you're listening to this episode, you can go to any participating store and get a free can of Pillsbury crescent rolls.
Just mention the Mount Rushmore podcast.
Mention the Mount Rushmore podcast. So, Richard, you win this one, but audience, really, you win because you get free Pillsbury crescent rolls at participating grocery stores. So ask them if they're participating when you walk in first before you take them and just steal them.
Or just don't.
All right. Okay. I'm going to get into my vault. This has been Mount Rushmore. My name's Jeff.
I'm Richard.
I'm Michael.